All right, it's Wednesday, midday. That means it's time for lunch break with ATI. My name's Brad Osborne, and I have the opportunity to share the time with Steve Delaney. And Steve Delaney is somewhat new to ATI.
I am new to ATI. That's correct. Not new to theater, but new to ATI.
Boy, tell us about your experience.
Okay, well, I guess I grew up in Indianapolis, and as a youngster growing up here, I went, I don't know if many of the people listening right now remember Starlight at
Loved it,
Butler
Steve.
University. Oh, it was wonderful.
Yeah.
So every summer I went there time and time again, and so that was my first, introduction to musical theater in particular. I love musicals. So as time went on, I've seen many, many, many plays, or not, I'd like to correct that, musicals. I prefer musicals in New York. I've gone there, and then in Indianapolis, and probably been to 100 musicals in my life, just I like it that much. Even this Christmas, I was in New York and I got to see two. I saw Aladdin and MJ. Both were just wonderful.
No kidding.
Yeah, we're lucky.
Did you think you were really talking to the real Michael Jordan?
Jackson.
I know, I'm just kidding you.
Anyway, yeah, that was a good one. Yes, it was Michael Jackson. We had third row seats. I mean, we were right in front. Yes, you almost thought it was him. I mean, it was fantastic. It's really good. I think it's coming to Indianapolis too on the Broadway series.
Oh, really?
I believe it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, I was kidding. I knew it was Michael
Oh,
Jackson.
okay.
Yeah.
You want to catch me? See if you can catch me. Sorry, Brad, you didn't get me on that one.
All right. Hey, what a cool thing to bring up Starlight right away. With this.
Yeah, I mean that's going way back in time, and it's long gone now. It's where the football and soccer field is there on the west, or I'm sorry, the east end of the campus. And,
Yeah.
But it was there for I don't know, maybe 30 or 40 years.
Yeah,
Way before I was even born. But I went, like I say, when I was a youngster, and it was just every week I would catch. It was all musicals. It was wonderful. And they bring in actually pretty big stars and everything too. It was good.
It was incredible.
I enjoyed it.
Wizard of Oz was Starlight. Music Man.
They brought one of my all-time favorites. They had Camelot there with Richard Harris. Who
I remember when that was there.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was great.
Yeah, my mom was pretty excited about Richard Harris.
Yeah. I actually went 3 times that week. I had to see it. It was I loved that one so much. So.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I know on Saturday you were at
Yes.
Titanic the musical.
Yes.
Give us some feedback on that.
Well, sometimes when you see something really great, you walk out and you just don't forget about it. Then you're kind of humming the music, and I just kept thinking about it. It's so good. And then your wife Meg had said, "Would you be willing to talk about it?" And I said, "Yeah, I would." So that's why I'm here today. I mean, I don't know. I've never been backstage. I've never been on stage, but I've been in front of the stage many, many times, as I said. And I tell you, this is one of the most enjoyable performances I've seen in a long time, and one of the best I've ever seen in Indianapolis. I didn't know what to expect. John Murphy, who is the chairman or CEO of ATI. Just invited me as a friend, and I just said, sure, I love musicals. I went, not knowing what I was going to see. I did not know about Titanic, which I learned was the first debut was in 1997 on Broadway, and it actually won Best Musical that year, which I didn't know. So
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah, so I looked it up, and I said, this has got to be good, and it really, really was. And they just did a great, they call it a concert interpretation. It wasn't a full-blown, production of the play itself, but it had the entire play, but the actors would come out, and whoever was singing or talking at the time, they would come out and kind of step forward from the rest of the cast, and the lights would come on them, and they do their whatever they're singing or talking or whatever, and then they did a great job of kind of moving parts around on the stage to give it a different look, but nothing like a typical musical, but fantastic. And it started out and I was actually pretty close to the front. The entire I think there was 22 actors, and they all stood in a line, kind of. Here's who we are, and they had their costumes on, and they looked like 1912, just to the T. Yeah, that's Broadway quality. You don't see such good costuming. And I was up close, and I could really see what they had on, and it was down to the guys had on vests and their suits, and in old-fashioned, the ladies had the hats on. It looked like the people getting on the Titanic. Most of them, well, actually, they had all. I was going to say most of them were first class. They had the hats and the dressed to the nines, and then the third class, they were dressed, in kind of white shirts and blue jeans, kind of the look, at that time. But just down to the details, and then the quality of the actors. I read through. I even have my, my program still have it, and so many of them were from Indianapolis. I think most of them were from Indianapolis, and then I think we brought a few in from New York and some other parts, but just. And not only were they very good, but they were perfectly cast.
Yes, as I was talking to Darren Morrell yesterday, I said, "Didn't you feel like this was perfectly perfectly cast
Perfect
for
yeah.
you.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I'm just somebody sitting out there, but they just did a great job of of that person is this type of person, and it really was, and the rich people were haughty and they were good, and the poor people they were a little rough and tumble, but all had beautiful voices. That's another thing. The quality, there wasn't a weak singer in the bunch. I mean,
know it.
Just wonderful. And I think Michael Blatt was the producer of the whole thing. I mean, I don't know him, but boy, he did a wonderful job. I'm just saying this. I mean, that's why I came, because I believed in it so much, and the music, and there's particularly the one song it was the encore, and then it was at the encore, and also it was at the beginning of the overture.
Right.
And then they sang, and it's called Godspeed.
Right.
And when they sing that, the whole cast, all 22 of them, walk out to the front and sing it. Also, there was 9 pieces from the symphony orchestra that were there, the Carmel Symphony.
Yeah.
And the Indianapolis Arts Chorale was actually in the background. I think there must have been 25 or 30 of them back there.
It was incredible, wasn't it?
It was. I mean, all that in one place.
And nobody overpowered anybody.
No. And the Arts Chorale was back, so they added just depth to the songs and stuff. But the overture again, and this Godspeed song are one of the most beautiful songs that I've ever heard. Really, it's just
Absolutely
beautiful. So that's a quick take.
You're giving me chills
Yeah.
just reviewing this.
Yeah, I'm getting excited about it, just thinking about it. And it's just too bad. The other thing is, it was only 2 nights.
Yeah.
Gosh, it could have gone a lot longer, And of course, a lot of people probably didn't know Titanic. They think of the movie. Yeah. This came out before the movie.
Right.
So
I walked into the building here with Kevin Casey, who was the stage manager, and he said that he was so thrilled with it, and the only disappointment is that it didn't go on.
Yeah, I'm one of these guys. I would have gone back. I mean, it reminded me a little bit. I mean, I'm stretching it here, but Les Miserables, which I've seen 9 times.
Wow,
I just love that one. And the way they staged a couple of things, where like 2 singers would be singing simultaneously. They're singing the same song, but with different words, and they're sort of talking through the music. And I first saw that in Les Miserables, and I said, it kind of reminded me of that, and just a couple of other things in there that reminded me of Les Mis, which came out, I think, about 10 years earlier than Titanic. I think it was in the late 80s when it came out.
Well, you just added something to my bucket list.
Okay, yeah.
Did Joyce have a thrilled time?
Oh, she loves it. Yeah, Joyce is my wife, and yeah, she loved it too. She's a big theater person. We haven't been married all that long, so I was fortunate to marry somebody that wants to go to theater with me. And actually, God, if I talk about shows, I mean, she's been to all of them in her life too. So our lives kind of melded together very well in that respect. So
Fantastic.
Yeah, she loved it. She loved it.
Well, and I know you hinted on it. You're speaking from experience with nearly 100 musicals, going to New York all the time.
Yeah, I just like it. Again, I have no experience. I'm not an actor. I don't sing. And I've never been in the background helping to produce one. But I just love to go.
But you know what's amazing? We all do our part. I mean, I'm here talking about it. You're here sharing it with friends. You're letting people know that ATI truly is Broadway in your backyard.
Definitely.
It's incredible. And at some point, you'll be backstage. You'll be able to see some of the things that we're doing behind the scenes.
Right. I've been invited to do that, and I've never done that actually. So I'm looking forward to it.
I hope you do.
Yeah, and then this concert interpretation, where it's not really a full-blown production in terms of what they put scenery, etc. But I mean, enough it gave you the feeling being on the ship. But I've seen this type of production before. I saw actually at the Lincoln Center in New York. I saw Camelot there once, and they did the same type of. Wasn't even close to how well these guys did it. I mean, they more came out and just sort of sang the parts together. Then they sort of walk off, and then the next people. It was in that type of interpretation. Also, I have season tickets to the Pops concerts down at the Indianapolis Symphony. We like the Cops. We like the Pops. I like the Cops too. I like the Pops in this case, and they do. They always have usually musical guests, but occasionally they'll do a concert interpretation of a musical, and they do a good job, but not even close to this.
Incredible.
This was just so good. That's all I can say. I mean, I was just. Again, if it was on more, I would have gone back. I'm one of these guys. If I like something, I'll go back. You know?
I had this at the intermission of the first night. Something hit me that the music, because it was so full, I took this concept that consider the music to be a gel, and it just tried to permeate me. And no matter where I was, how I was moving, the music was trying to get inside of me.
Yeah, I agree. I actually downloaded the overture and that song.
Oh,
Godspeed.
you did?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
I wasn't sure if I could pull it, but I did, and I've got it. So I'll play it for you afterwards.
Okay.
Reminds you to play one more time. You know?
Okay, I want to do it.
Okay.
Hey, another thing that you came to our gala and
Yes.
and you
Wonderful.
thank
Loved
you
it.
so much.
Yes, I loved it.
You know, we're building community through that, and a lot of other people who are supportive of Broadway in your backyard, and you know, I really appreciate you stepping up as a patron of
Glad
Actors
to,
Theater
yeah,
of
glad
Indiana.
to. I was I was very impressed, actually, just with the gala, because they actually had a lot of the actors and actresses from the play, or the musical, I want to say that right. And so they sang a few songs and actually did some scenes from the play or musical, and I said, man, I gotta go. And that actually enthused me enough, and I mean, that I certainly made a donation, which I hadn't before because I really wasn't involved. I used to live in Carmel, now I live in Indianapolis, so
Okay.
not far away, but that's why I tended to go downtown to the Symphony as opposed to coming north. But man, I've missed something, so I'm glad.
thank you.
I want to thank John Murphy, if he's listening, that he got me involved again. So.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, you know, as a contributor and a patron, and I know you've been a very successful businessman, both in the real estate business and in the restaurant business.
Was, yes.
And but so what? I can't pass up an opportunity to give you one of our sponsorship brochures.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
And if in fact there are folks that you would like Meg Osborne, my wife, to
I
talk
know
to,
Megan now. I know her well now. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
we've talked multiple times since the show.
she is so amazing.
Yes, very
And
enthusiastic.
but I wanted to also share with you
Yes, sir.
the artistic committee
Yes.
has gathered our shows for the 2025-2026 season, and this is going to be rock solid.
Yeah.
And Beehive is everything you loved about the girl bands from the 60s
Yeah.
is going to be there. Young Frankenstein.
I haven't seen that one.
And we're going to have, since it's right around the Halloween time, we're going to have costume contests and some other fun stuff that people can do when they come to the show. And
Yeah.
Lucky Stiff,
I don't know what's that one.
that is where a fella dies, but he has to, his nephew has to take him to all these casinos before he's put in the ground, and at least that's the way I understand it. I might be off on it
So
just a little bit,
it'd be a real-
but Sam Marcy is the Lucky Stiff,
Oh, wow.
and the nephew is Jacob Butler, who was Barrett in the Titanic show.
Oh, okay,
that has
yeah.
that wonderful voice.
Oh, he's good. He was
Incredible.
very good, very
so
good.
so we're going to have plenty of good laughs with Lucky Stiff,
Yeah.
and then we end it with Sunset Boulevard.
That's what I've seen that.
And-
That's a great one.
And it
That's
is
a
so
great one.
rare, I understand, Steve, that we're able to have something here that is also on Broadway
It is right
simultaneously.
now, yeah, it is.
So we have some pretty exciting stuff.
It is, and I mean, if I could say, whoever's listening out there, I mean, this is Broadway quality, musicals here in Indianapolis. I mean, I'm just, or in Carmel in this case, but just it really was. I was taken aback by how well it was done.
Well, can I give me one chance to give that phone number so
Okay.
that people can call the Fifth Third box office at the Allied Solution Center for the Performing Arts. It's 317-843-3800, and the staff really is great over there. We've loved working with them for years, and they'll dial into what your preferences are, and you can get a season ticket right now to make sure you got the seat you want for
Yeah.
all of these productions. Now, unlike the one that we had at the Palladium, and by the way, I wanted you to know that we had 1,500 souls survive the sinking of the Titanic.
Right.
They were all sitting in their seats.
Yeah.
But the studio theater is an intimate environment, and you would feel like you're right there on the set. I mean,
Okay.
it's just incredible.
Is that the theater in the round by chance? Is that what?
It's no longer round,
Oh, okay. Okay. I've been there when the round. Yeah.
but it is
Yeah, very small.
very
intimate.
small,
Yes,
intimate,
I've been
black
there.
box, rearranged since they initially opened it.
Okay.
And it's going to be a fantastic place to enjoy a
It
beautiful
is.
season.
It is.
Well, I am so thankful to have you, Steve.
Well, thank you.
Your excitement about what we do,
Yep.
I know it's going to be contagious and it's
Yeah.
going to help a lot of people. Hey, in fact,
Right.
let's talk about that for a second.
All right, what's that?
You know, you've shared that how you've enjoyed it. What do you think theater does for a community, for people that haven't experienced it? Why would somebody take a couple hours out of their day or night and come and enjoy theater?
Good question. Yeah. Well, I mean, people go to movies and love that. I mean, obviously, thousands or millions of people do that. But when you get to see people, right in front of you live on stage, I just think it's a whole different experience. And I think anybody that hasn't done that, you need to do it. I mean, you really get invested in it. You think more in the movie, but boy, when they're right there in front of you, you believe you're there with them. They're so close. You can touch them. You can see them almost. So I mean, you can definitely see them, but you can. I was close enough I could actually touch them. Matter of fact, they came down in the aisle, and the lady's dress, brushed by me because they were like as they were getting off the ship, and so they came down into the aisle. So I mean that's how close it is. I just think, ever since, again, I mentioned, the Starlight when I was a little kid, I just thought that was just such a neat thing, and I've never forgotten it, I'm not a little kid anymore, but I'm still enjoying it.
That's right. It still brings the peace and triggers some memories.
It does. Yeah, it does. Really does. I mean, Sunset Boulevard, out of these I've seen, and some I've gone to. I mentioned Les Mis. I've been to 9 times. I get sort of fixated on them, and I want to see them again and again. And I would have gone back to this one. That's how good I thought it was.
Yeah, fantastic.
It was just wonderful.
Well, thank you so much for giving us some time today,
You're welcome.
Steve.
You're certainly welcome.
And we're looking forward to partnering with you on other
Absolutely.
things that are in the future.
I'll be here at all these.
And I tell you, we have some sound bites from this interview today that we're going to be able to say, hey, listen to Steve, and it'll pop up 30 seconds here and 30 seconds there.
Okay, well, I'm glad to help. Like I said,
Oh, thanks.
Just,
so good to be with you again,
You
Steve.
too, Brad. Thank you very
Hey,
much.
thanks, folks, for joining us. Next week, Sam Marcy will be here. I believe Joni Michaels is our guest. And what we try to do is give tidbits of knowledge, awareness, and updates of some of the things that are going on in the performing arts community. But I'm so glad you came and joined us today. So have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.